Welcome to today's episode. We have a very exciting guest, Chris Gallant, CEO of the Coterie Group. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're so happy to have you. Why don't we start a little bit about your personal and professional background? Just give us a little clarity on that.
Let's say I'm 65 years old, been in business for myself for most of my life, never really worked for corporate America or anything like that. Lived in Europe for 20 years, got a vast experience in different countries around the world, working with people, working in the financial sector. Started working in a debit card business back in the late 90s. When fintech was not even a word that we knew, but we were doing it unbeknownst to ourselves. So yeah, it's been a roller coaster going through the year 2000 with the end of the data world coming up and everything was going to go down. The internet was never going to be. And today, 25 years later, working with AI. So yeah, it's been an amazing time.
So you've really been through it all, I'd say.
I mean, we're fortunate in this age of time that the technology is moving so rapidly forward, and most of us, come from the DOS program, so we knew a little bit about that. That gives us a little bit of an advantage, if you wish. And so, we're the generation that introduced the calculators in school. Like, I mean, today
Yeah.
that's unimaginable. We use our iPhones to do everything,
Right.
but I mean, so we kind of grew into that, and we're seeing that, and those that don't take advantage of that, I mean, they're wow, they need to reconsider, because they need to take advantage of these things, especially in our sector, the financial world. We're constantly looking for lenders and matching them with borrowers. That's something. These are tools that you need to start using.
100%. Chris, could you give us a little background about your company and what you guys do?
Coterie Group's been around since 1997, so it's a long-standing company. We've been in the financial sector ever since. As I said, we started in late 90s with the debit card program. Prior to that, in 1997, we actually built one of the first online websites, online directory. 1 year after Yahoo, we built an online directory as well as an online shopping, which back then was non-existent. I mean, we when we started in that business, websites were black and white. I know it's hard to believe, black and white website, but we slowly progressed from the online shopping, looked at the background of that, which back then you could not use your vendor's permit for other people. And we slowly but truly moved into the debit card program, so the back end of the financial world. And we started working with, companies like, well, actually, one of our first clients was a gold-backed debit card, which we did in the British Virgin Islands. And that, continued on, and we worked with the Church of God in Christ, which has about 10 million members, and we created one of the first debit cards for that program, which was at the time, like, you didn't talk, or debit card was not a big deal. We moved that to several other platforms, and eventually I taught at the ACH system, small to medium-sized banks, how to use debit cards and what to use them for. And that just progressed from that to working in São Paulo, Brazil, on online banking systems for about 4 years. And then eventually the Coterie Group just decided to do its own thing, which was, use the global network that we had and marry, borrowers with lenders. And that's how we became to what we are today. Today we have consultants in various locations, from Chile to Italy to the UK, obviously Canada, the US, and some now in Peru. We also have a network of lenders in some of those bases. We've opened companies in Spain where we're trying to, we are presently working on an investment portfolio. So yeah, it's expanded. And we owe that to many failures. I mean, if you can't fail, you got two options. When you fail, you got to learn from your mistakes, or you got to fail again. And so, that comes hand in hand, failure with success. So we're pretty happy to be where we are today.
That is so amazing to hear. Thank you for walking me through that journey. I know this probably looks very different every single day, but what does your typical day-to-day look like with this company? Just an average work day. Walk us through that.
Well, we've kind of diversified. You have to adapt to what the world is undergoing right now. So in the past few years, we've opened a recruitment agency in Florida. We've also got involved with a beverage company that does Bloody Marys, which is a mocktail, non-alcoholic. We've got involved with residential mortgages, and obviously we are still maintaining our financial aspect with the Coterie Group. But it's kind of hard to explain because what happens in our sector is there's some good years and bad years, and everybody will tell you that. And let's take today, for example. For the past 2 years since COVID, there's been a real big readjustment. And the largest or the biggest challenge that we're facing today is housing, right? Either the houses are too expensive, we're back to rentals, there's not enough rentals, rentals is too expensive. Inflation has gone up, price of things have gone up, but your salary is still the same. Why? Because, well, if you work for a company, you're into that price range, and unless you get a raise, you're stuck there. So things have gone up by 30%, but your salary has gone up by 3%.
Yeah.
So that doesn't match. And so that stops in our world as well. And to give you an example, when times are good and builders are building and people are buying, we're always busy because, builders are looking for money. Borrowers are looking to get a better deal on borrowing. And so it's a great time for us. But if all of these things don't align, which means that builders are not building because trades are too expensive and concrete is too expensive, and on the other side, buyers are not buying because the interest rate is too high, then we have a stalemate. And that means that, okay, so now we're not going forward. So as a company, if you don't diversify, well, you're stuck. I mean, so when you have good years, you have to take some of these revenues of good years and start looking at other investments so that your company continues growing. It may not be strictly in the financial aspect of it, but it's certainly a financial thing that you should do in order to keep your company growing. And so that's what we've been doing in the past 3 years. Now, we're still doing a lot of financing. I mean, we've got projects in the Bahamas, we've got projects in Spain, we've got projects in all across the US, Canada. We do have projects. However, those projects a little harder to put together creatively because the investors and lenders are not as gung-ho as they used to be into buying into that project, right? So that's my day-to-day is could be looking at a project like I did early this morning. We looked at a project. My two AIs underwrote the project. They looked at it. We looked at another project with the new opportunity zones coming in play again. But then we also turned around and looked at some of the design work that we're looking on our mocktail company and so on and so forth. So it's a diversified day.
Yeah. Okay, Chris, that was amazing. Let's talk about AI. So kind of tell me your journey with that. How is it implemented into your company? What are you looking to do? How do you think it's going to affect your industry? All that great stuff.
The biggest challenge in our industry is underwriting a file. So when you're looking at a construction project, for example, it's a huge amount of information from site plan approval to permit it to soft costs to hard costs. And then there's a breakdown of all these soft costs and hard costs. The same thing happens when you're a person looking to buy a house and you want to get a residential mortgage. Then, you have to look at your loan to value, your credit score, you look at your gross income ratio. And I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that banks, financial institutions look at. And then if they don't take that project or that residential mortgage, we end up with it. Basically, we don't get the cream of the crop. So now we've got to analyze all of these files, and that's normally done both at the financial institution, bank, and our level by what we call underwriters. And these underwriters go through all the files, and they look through the files and analyze the loan to value, analyze the security, analyze the exit strategy, so that we can present a project to a potential lender that has all the answers for them and backed up by this folder and that folder. So it's quite extensive. AI cuts that time into minutes. This morning I have two AIs that I work with. This morning I gave one of the AIs 6 folders, asked it to analyze the folders, give me a summary of what they were looking for. give me the loan to value, give me the security being offered, give me the request, a complete breakdown that an underwriter would take, 2, 3 days. Within minutes, I
Yeah.
had a nice summary in front of me. I was able to answer our CSO, our chief strategy officer, and say, take a look at the analysis from the underwriter. I call them my underwriters, and we're not able to take on this project for all these reasons. Um, Seconds. Other functions. Let's say I want to write an article for LinkedIn, which is something that we do quite a bit. Normally, the research time that it would take, I mean, don't kid yourself. If you think your AI is gonna do everything for you, people will find that out in no time at all. I mean, that's if you think your AI is gonna write a book, you're completely mistaken. It'll write it, but it won't make too much sense. So there's an element of mistake by people, but there's also an element of work that has to be done. What's different is the research time. If I needed to research all the markets right now for sales and like what's available in the real estate market, on the market for sale, is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? And give some percentages and quotes in regards to that, it would take me like most of the day. Now I just go to the AI and say, give me this research, this research, this research. And from there, we can create an article that tells people, hey, it's a buyer's market.
Yeah.
Why? Look at this, right? So another good point. If I wanted to do a post, in the old days, it was like I had to go back to my marketing team, had to go back to my web design team and ask them, hey, listen, I want to make this visual post for LinkedIn, and this is what I want to talk about. Can you do that? Well, backed up a little bit. We should be able to get it done in the next 3, 4 days. Wow. Get that done in seconds. Now, I give the directives and say, give me a visual, and bang, I'm posting. So, yeah, if you're not working with AIs, you're like, in all honesty, I could take my day and surmise it into hours and then have the rest of the day off.
Yeah.
And I've accomplished more than what I used to. Answering emails, same thing. I sit on the board of the hospital as well. I'm one of the directors and oversee I chair the finance. And one of our board members, it works at the city level, and they've implemented a rule that nobody is allowed to respond to an email or put an email out without the AI, in this case, ChatGPT, having a look at it. It's incredible, but sometimes you're not formulating what your intention is, right? Like you think this is what you said, but this is how it comes out.
Yeah.
And so by using the AI, you're actually putting something out that makes sense, that's well worded, and expresses exactly what you want to express. So I'm all in for that because I can tell you that 99% of my emails don't go out without one of my AIs looking at the email. So
100%.
lots of stuff, lots and lots of stuff that you should be looking at. And
Yeah, I totally agree. Anyone who's not using AI is behind, and that's the truth.
I've just now purchased a year's worth of InVideo, and that's gotta be one of the most incredible AIs that I've worked with, aside from Base 44, which, if people don't know Base 44, a creator of apps in minutes, that's just unimaginable. But with InVideo, you can actually, have just a one sentence, look at my website and create a video about us, and within minutes, you've got a nice video, which I posted on LinkedIn, about the Coterie Group,
Yeah.
and that's pretty incredible. Like, I mean, naturally, we're gonna go back and edit a few sections, but it's so easy. I have no clue if you said to me, "Do a video," I have no clue. Absolutely no clue. Like, people are going, "Yeah, and you edit this portion and add this and" I but I don't have to.
Yeah.
I can tell the AI exactly what I want, make the edits, and then go back and say, "No, I don't like that picture," and it'll change the picture, and I don't like that sound, and it changed the music. So, yeah, it's incredible for your business and marketability and how you wanna stand out in front of, in your sector, in your area, absolutely phenomenal. At the end of the day, I think that you're gonna see that in the next very hard prediction here, I might say 5 years, and it'll happen in 5 days, but in the next 5 years, I think most of us will be using AIs, right?
100%.
And I'm not concerned about AIs taking over. That's just silly at this stage. but it will eliminate quite a few jobs. But we have the same challenge with the internet. When the internet came and online shopping like Amazon, which is now huge, obviously Temu and everybody else, but no, people said, "Oh, that's gonna, eliminate a whole bunch of jobs." It never did. Created a different sector of jobs, and we're still employed. AI is gonna do the same thing in some sectors and then add employment to other sectors. I think in our sectors, it's gonna be very beneficial.
I love your mindset on that, Chris. That's 100% true in my opinion too. We have the same visionary. So kind of just wrapping up here, if we have any audience members who are entrepreneurs, maybe looking to break into the business, is there any like one sentence giveaway that you like to talk about? Is there any quote that you like to live by? Any advice you have them? Any send offs?
I think the word for that is like, I mean, in in every sector, you have to adapt to that local sector. You don't go to Texas to tell a Texas person how a California person deals. You
Yeah.
have to tell a Texas person, you have to adapt to Texas rules and the way they do business. Adaptability is a big one. If you're gonna break into global markets and family offices and everything, you have to adapt to the way that they work. Once you adapt to that, then they'll work with you. So I think that's a big key. And then the other one is to just never give up.
Yeah, 100%. You gotta fail to win, right? Just keep going.
Exactly.
That's great advice, Chris. Well, thank you so much for hopping on today. I think we had an amazing conversation, and just thank you once again.
Thanks for having me. Anytime. I'm
Cool.
glad to be here.